For those of you listening on podcast format, I shall dictate what we are currently watching. A man in a paragliding thing has paraglided onto grass. Leaders from across the world of the G7 are looking at the man while one elderly old man, dawdling off away from the crowd, seemingly looking at nothing or everything, is brought back to the crowd by the other foreign leaders. He is stiff-handed, pulls out his sunglasses to do the thing. The dark Brandon thing. Puts on the glasses. His hands are not moving. They have not moved in quite some time. Could it be arthritis? Could it be dementia? Nobody knows. He stands there, motionless, rigid, like an over-starchy suit that comes out of the dry cleaner. Mouth agape, partially open. It's not clear that he understands what is going on, where he is, who he is, when he is. And thus the clip ends. Good afternoon. It's terrible. It's objectively terrible. This is a video clip that was going viral earlier today, and everyone's retweeting it. What the hell? What the hell is Joe Biden doing? He's like meandering off like a walking corpse that doesn't know where the hell he is. And I saw the clip, and because I have I didn't get burnt last week, but some people might have arguably gotten burnt by retweeting that otherwise, what's the word I'm looking for? Not redacted, not abridged. The cut short clip of Joe Biden at the D-Day Normandy celebration in France, where it looked like he might have been pooping his pants. And people retweeted that thinking that he was pooping his pants. And I was like, okay, before I retweet it, I'm going to go check the context and see what's going on. And lo and behold, he wasn't pooping his pants. He was looking for a seat because he thought it was time to sit down. And then he got told by big boss Jill Biden, elder abuser Jill Biden, it's not time to sit down yet, sweetie. So I see this clip and everyone's freaking out about it, retweeting it today. All of the usual folks, once it works its way into a certain cycle, everybody tweets and everybody has their kick at that. I want to say pathetic can, but everybody wants to get a good take on it. My take was I need to find the deeper, broader context because I'm looking at this video and I'm saying, let's play devil's advocate. Maybe there are other paragliders still coming down. I'm not on the right mic. I don't know how that happens. Maybe there are other paragliders still coming down. And so he's looking off in the distance and there's other paragliders. So he's not actually just a total dawdling, demented, senile old man. He's looking at something that the other 8 dignitaries, the other 8 foreign leaders, losers of the highest order, are not looking at. The full clip in context was even worse. Let me bring it back up just for 1 second. The way he puts on his sunglasses, it's like someone is out there, his handler is out there and saying, like the I didn't do it episode of The Simpsons, like, do the thing, Joe, do the dark Brandon. I don't know if he's like, if that's his last memory that he has, like that's his last functioning cognitive capacity to do the thing. Look at this. He walks off. No idea where the hell he's going. Look at the people. Look at these other elder abuse enablers. You got Justin Trudeau, who, as we will talk about later on in this show, doesn't mind putting out of life the mentally ill under the pretext of medical assistance and dying. We'll get there. Look at all of these jackasses. You got the British guy. What's the British guy's name? I'm not going to get it. Sunar? What's the British guy's name? That doesn't matter. I'll get in a second. You got all of these idiots. And they notice there's a problem. Like this woman right here. Wow. Oh, wow. A guy paragliding. Wow. And then Joe Biden's like, look, the guy behind her. He's like, dude, somebody get this guy, please bring him back. She notices like, oh, where the hell is he going? Looking around uncomfortably. Head nod. Did you notice it? Right here. I think that's a head nod. Can someone get this guy? Can someone go get the guy? Okay, there. Joe, over here. Please come back to reality. I don't know who that is. That looks like Melanie Jolie, but I don't think it is. You got Sunar. What's his name? Anyhow, that's the video clip. It's then he puts on the glasses. Do the thing, Joe. It's objective, abject elder abuse. Rishi Sunak. That's it. Rishi Sunak. I've said this before, I'll say it again. The Democrat Party, the Democrats, the liberals, and I'm saying capital L, capital D, progressives, they are people who will do anything because the ends justify the means. They will engage in elder abuse. They will engage in exploitation of children. They will engage in exploitation of the mentally impaired, the cognitively impaired. And I'll give you 3 solid examples. One you just saw. Joe Biden, objectively mentally impaired. Objectively, this is not a judgment. I'm not making fun of old people. My grandmother was diagnosed with early onset dementia. How that happens at 86, I don't know. But she went nearly another 20 years. She was 103 when she died. I know what that face looks like. And I'm not trying to make fun. It's just that's what's going on with Joe Biden. They will abuse that man so long as he has a pulse in his body and can stand on 2 feet, even if it's in a stiff-like pose. Who else did they exploit while he was going through mental issues? John Fetterman. Doesn't matter that he just had a stroke. Doesn't matter that he's going through clinical depression. Keep on your own 2 feet, John, just as long as it takes to get elected. And then we can throw you under the bus when we're done with you, once we get that nice warm body in that, was it Congress or Senate? The House or the Senate? I forget. Once we get that nice warm seat in Congress. Who else have they exploited? The child, Greta Thunberg, who is also mentally... I have to weigh my words here so I don't get canceled. Who suffers from mental issues, diagnosable mental issues. I believe that she's diagnosed as being on the spectrum. A child on the spectrum who can dance like the monkey that they need her to dance like, and they will parade her around and use her as the political pawn that they need her to be used for. Exploitation. So that's the video clip in its longer, broader context. And I think whoever Weekend at Bernie's is the uncynical joke. I have to watch that movie again. Maybe I'll watch that movie with the kids. Weekend at Bernie's, indeed. I mean, it's terrible. I mean, it's something that is so terrible that it's not even something that a cup of 1775 coffee can remedy. Are you a sleepy Joe who has zero cognitive performance, scared of walking upstairs without being worried that you're going to fall down or up? Do you struggle to muster focus and brain power for your basic things in life, such as eating ice cream or riding a bike or kissing a grandkid on the lips? That I won't judge so hard. I had my good friends who did that when they were adults and whatever. Kids are disgusting germ bags, but whatever. You need to stop drinking woke liberal coffee and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. Never mind that it'll be the best coffee you've ever tasted in your life, as in seriously good. It's also ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. So instead of waking up tomorrow and drinking your mold infested, big corporation owned woke ideology coffee that is probably making you sick from the pesticides sprayed on it, try Rumble's 1775 coffee, support freedom of speech, and build a parallel economy that actually values you. We're going to talk about Rumble during tonight's stream as well, because Rumble, holy shit, if you don't understand why we need a parallel economy and why you should vote with your feet, your eyeballs, your dollar, support companies that actually value your business and don't think that you're a piece of scum to be exploited, we're going to understand that a little more thoroughly tonight. 1775 Coffee has an exclusive partnership with Rumble. Go to 1775coffee.com right now. Pick up your first bag. Use promo code VIVA for 10% off your first order, so make it a big one. There's medium, dark, peaberry. I take my coffee like I take my women. Dark. That's the old joke, but I actually don't. But I do prefer my coffee dark. I take my coffee like I take myself. Short, stout. Strong, robust, so that you know you're drinking coffee when you drink it. You won't regret it for a moment. Level up your morning routine with a bag of 1775 coffee. Sleep well at night knowing your hard-earned dollars are going towards supporting a freedom-loving company that loves its freedom-loving customers, that values their money, and build that parallel economy. The link is in the description, and it's delicious coffee. Everyone knows the joke, right? How do you take your coffee black like my men? I think it was from, I want to say it was from Airplane. It was back in an era where humor could be funny. Who knows where it's from? Balls of Steel, Hallis Baller. Okay, we're gonna get there. We're getting there right now, actually. Now that you mentioned it, let me just make sure that we're live across all platforms. We are live on the Rumbles. We are live on the Viva barneslaw.local.com. Mr. Mike says, Viva, this is in locals. Admit it.
You like your coffee like you like your men. Wait, I like lots of cream and sugar. Too much. I went too far. Who said I went too far here? You should drink the the thing. Svian says, okay, there are memes galore in here. I'm going to bring up a few of these because these are just incredible. We have an amazing community at Rumble, above average, wonderfully humorous, good senses of humor, intelligent, tolerant, and loving. That is our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community. Hold on. There's a better one. Okay, Bill Brown apparently is here we go. This is it. This is the one. I mean, it's not even a joke. This is quality memery. Who said Viva in Viva? So everybody, if you're new to the channel, first of all, I'll say it, my ass is extremely sore. I drove yesterday. What is that? I don't know, like 500 kilometers? Is it more than that? I think it was like 600 kilometers. I drove from the southeast side of Florida, across the wang of the panhandle that is Florida, through Naples, up to Longboat Keys, to the Rumble studio to do an interview with Russell Brand. I was on his channel at noon, and he was on my channel at 1:45, and it was amazing. I drove there, left at 6 in the morning, got there by 10, had a nice picnic on the ocean. Then I did the interviews, then I came back, and on the way back, because it was torrential flooding, my wife, who was on her way to Canada, had their flight canceled after sitting on the freaking plane for 3 hours on a disgusting, hot plane with no TV, with our youngest kid. And I didn't even tell my kid. You want to know how good it is to meet people in real life? The lectern guy just came over and slept over when we did the podcast with Luke Rudkowski. And my kid knows the lectern guy and the injustice that he endured. He was on the plane, and as much as he was flipping his shiat, he said to my wife, this is not as bad as being in solitary confinement like the lectern guy. I'm not trying to be funny. It's like, that's how you put things in perspective. The flight was canceled, so then I drive straight to the airport, plowing through rain puddles and flood water, and I pick up my kid and my wife, and we go home. So it was amazing. So that's why my butt is a little sore. And then that was like 8-9 hours of driving in one day, which is no big deal because I listened to Russell Brand's Revelation. I listened to Joe Rogan interview Tank Abbott, and I would never have recognized Tank Abbott in a million years. He looks good. He looks like a nice, healthy, elderly gentleman. Not the Tank Abbott I remember from UFC 3. It was wild. Oh, so that's what's going on today. Everybody, Viva Fry, David Freiheit, Montreal litigator, former, current Florida Rumbler. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. And we have a special guest who just popped in the back, actually, Phil Holloway. We're going to go over the stuff that we're going to talk about. Phil is going to be the special guest of the day. We're talking about Georgia. We're going to talk about Hunter Biden conviction, Steve Bannon appeal. What else was it? Then we're going to go to Rumble because Rumble has some amazingly wild news that just came out in terms of not being listed on the Russell 3000 exchange. Rumble is also suing Google and has recently published some very damning video of Google basically admitting that it's not just an accident, but a strategy that they game the system to favor themselves over other search results and whatever else comes up on the menu. So that is it. What I wanted to say that I didn't get to the live chats or the super chat, the Rumble rants or the tips yesterday during the interview because it just wasn't feasible to do it. So I apologize for that, but that's it. Okay, I'm gonna bring Phil in. Phil, you ready? Phil Holloway, you might remember him from such corrupt jurisdictions as Fulton County. He's a practicing attorney. He's been on the channel before. We've been on each other's channel. He's a good guy. Phil, how are you doing?
I've got a little bit of studio envy, to be honest with you. I've always, liked your studio. So, and I've always been a little jealous. I've got to admit, I think it's great.
Oh, you said studio envy.
Yeah.
Okay, now hold on a second. I got to see what it says in the background. This says Folsom Prison. Wait, hold on one second. Johnny Cash. What prison did he go to?
Well, that's the Folsom Prison. He did the famous Folsom Prison Blues song, and so he did live from inside Folsom Prison. So I've had this sort of knickknack in my house for years, and finally I found the right place for it.
Well, Folsom Prison is in Georgia.
No, it's in California, I believe.
Okay, fine. That's right. Okay, never mind. So that's why I knew Fulton was in Georgia, but Phil, Look, we're gonna like do like a variety talk show, I guess, tonight. But tell everybody who you are, just in case they don't know. But I think everybody knows.
I'm Phil Holloway. I'm a lawyer in the Metro Atlanta area. I'm also a LawTube streamer. My show is Inside the Law, and we have, I think a lot of you probably subscribe to both Viva's show and mine, of course, and others. Viva and I have a very, we're friends actually in real life and in the LawTube space, and we don't like compete, I think, with each other, because your style is very different from mine. Your show is very different from mine. But fortunately for me, I am right here in the belly of the beast in Fulton County, Georgia, where so much of the law craziness is going on right now.
It is. Was that you or that was me? Do you have Ring on your phone as well?
No.
Okay, I got Ring. No, my theory has always been this, and I stand by it. None of us are competing with each other, because we have barely tapped into the market of the awareness at the broadest of scales of LawTube on YouTube, on the interwebs. We're getting there, but the more that there are of quality legal analysis, you bring more people in, and it's the rising tide that literally lifts all ships. And
and I can't. You obviously have been doing this longer, and you've got it's a fantastic show. And I was actually watching and listening to you before I started doing this myself. And by the way, you were and Eric and some of the others, were critical in encouraging me to do this, and I really appreciate your help and support. I don't know, I can't see your numbers, how many are in it, but I was like, today I had 5,000 live on my channel at 2:30 in the afternoon, simply because they're so fascinating. I think, look, it's not because of me, it's because I happen to be in Fulton County in Atlanta, talking about the craziness that's going on. People genuinely are interested in the learning about the law, and they don't want to always go to cable TV or anything like that. They like to hear from people like you and I who have some real life perspective, I think, which that sets the LawTube community apart.
Well, I mean, it is the Young Thug trial is now turning into the next Rittenhouse, the next Johnny Depp, because when it's live streamed and people can watch it, it provides for amazing insight and entertainment, legal entertainment. And I was just flipping through the live streams today, like the networks that just play it with no commentary, tens of thousands of people watching it. The ones that provide meaningful, insightful commentary, I mean, just need to tap into those markets. But it's turning out to be a wildly interesting case, because not from necessarily even the legal perspective, from the corruption perspective. What made Rittenhouse so amazing was not the law, it was the corruption. It was the malicious prosecution. What made the Johnny Depp so interesting was not the law, it was the debaucherous character of, what was her name? Jeez, Johnny Depp and...
Pirate. Yeah.
What was the woman?
Pirates of the Caribbean there.
Johnny Depp. I don't want to look at the chat, but I'm going to have to. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Whew, son of a gun. I think I may have gotten Fizbin Goldstein to see it. It was the behavior and the characters and the extrajudicial stuff about it. I'm going to bring you put a clip in the back there of a video.
I wanted to. I'll set it up for you. I just offered it in case you look. I mean, the thing about the Young Thug trial, if we can talk just for a second. So
we're going to do it. We're going to do that, and I'll play the video in a second of balls of steel giving it to the judge.
And I know him. I've known him for 25 years. We can talk about. He's a great guy. So look what Young Thug has done. He's a rapper in Atlanta. Okay, Atlanta, for those of you who don't know, has a large community. There's a bunch of the recording industry is here, particularly in the rap genre. Okay, so it's literally a big market for that. That's why we have so many rappers that live here and are based here. And so this Young Thug, because it's Fani Willis prosecuting Young Thug in a racketeering case. And oh, by the way, she's using rap music lyrics as what she calls substantive evidence of a crime. That's pissed a lot of people off. But also, now that everybody has gotten familiar with Fani Willis through the Trump RICO case, you've got this very interesting dynamic where you've got a lot of Donald Trump fans that are now, I guess, they've adopted Young Thug, and they're now Young Thug fans that they may not have otherwise been. But the insider, here's the thing: Young Thug himself is a major Donald Trump supporter. Okay. And so there's just so much overlap, and it's these two things have kinetically the fueled the fire of the interest in both these cases.
Well, it's the increased scrutiny or the increased interest in the case. I'm not sure that it's actually Young Thug based, or at least it might not have been at the beginning. But the Fani Willis corruption interest, like once you know that she was that corrupt in the RICO prosecution of Trump, well, now everybody wants to like look at what she's doing next, and now we're discovering we're going to get into the corruption. But absolutely, there also seems to be a tendency of going after celebrities or bigwigs who are Trump supporters in particular. I can't think of the other.
Look, I mean, what happened in the Trump case has opened a lot of people's eyes. And so they realize now, just because you're accused of a crime doesn't mean you're guilty, but that's not the point. That's actually irrelevant. I haven't really given any thought or consideration to the substance of the charges against Young Thug and all the other 28 defendants. And I don't know if they're guilty, and I really don't care, because what this is about fundamental fairness. This is about prosecutors and judges doing the right thing, because when our system doesn't work right for Young Thug or Donald Trump, then it won't work right when you get charged, or when I get charged, or when our friends who are in your live chat here might, unfortunately, if they ever get charged. If they can do it to one, they can do it to all. And so the general public there's a raising of the awareness that the justice system has got to be fair for all people.
I'm trying. Where the heck is the clip of the balls of steel? Forget minus.
Well, I've got it.
I'll find. Yeah, okay, fine. Pop it. So the bottom line, I just put out a quick vlog before this stream, but maybe some people didn't get to watch it yet. Young Thug, RICO charges, amongst other charges. He's facing 9 charges. And they're apparently someone got murdered, and now they're going to try to go after Young Thug as part of a RICO racketeering, intimidation, corruption organization, in that he participated in the murder by, allegedly, according to the witness at issue here, by renting a car that they knew was going to be used in this murder. And so he's facing 9 charges. That's the long and short of it. Whether or not you think he's guilty, innocent, whatever. They tried to use lyrics from his rap song in order to adduce guilt. We talked about that, Barnes and I, a while back. And the trial's been going on. What happened, I think this is going to blow the case up and blow the interest in it up as well, if it already hadn't blown up, is the lawyer, Young Thug's lawyer, is a man named, what's his first name?
Brian Steele.
It's so cool. It's like Max Power. His name is Brian Steele. And the video clip that went viral was based on the news that we heard last week.
I've got it here. I can share it.
Yeah. Well, flip the link in the private chat, or send.
Well, I've got it in a folder that I could. It's not like a web link. I've got the actual video.
I retweeted it, so I don't understand. Oh, it's right here. I got it. Okay, here I got it. Okay. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna put this up here. It's a 3-minute video, but it's freaking wild. Here, let's do this. I got it here. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'm just trying to build up the suspense while I go share screen. George and X. Here we go. This is it. Oh, okay, whatever. Here. Okay, bringing it up. We'll play through it, and I'll pause it, Phil, and you'll add some insights. So the judge, what's the judge's name?
Earl Glanville, URAL.
Now, I know that you are a practicing attorney in this district, so you'll weigh your words. I won't, because I may have to drive around Georgia.
No, I'm not. Look, I don't know that I'll be welcome down there anytime soon. So I'll give you the unvarnished truth.
All right, let's play this, and I'll pause it.
For purposes of record. Well, I'm going forward. What I was told was that Mr. Copeland said, and you haven't answered my question yet.
I'm not.
How
did
did
you
you
answer that question?
You're not. No, I will not answer that. Why will you not answer that question?
So the question here is, how did the lawyer find out that the judge and the prosecution had an ex parte meeting with the prosecution's star witness, leading witness, whatever, ex parte meaning without the defense being present? And so I'll flesh out one question first, Phil. The prosecution can meet with their witnesses. That there's no problem about, obviously, right?
The prosecution they're not supposed to once the witness has started testifying. But when the witness is not, otherwise they can't. But you can't have this ex parte. It's Latin, one-sided. You just can't have a meeting with the judge just about anything. So it's very, very limited in most states. In fact, including in Georgia. a friend of mine who's a prosecutor is watching us right now, and she loves you, Viva. She just sent me a text message. Hi, Karen. All right, so listen, you can't just go in and have a one-sided conversation with the judge. You've got to have all relevant parties there. And so what's happened is Steele, rightly so, is confronting the judge because he just found out that the prosecutor was back there with her witness and the judge, and they were essentially talking about not only the case, but the witness wanted to take the fifth. And according to, and look, I did a whole stream on this today. If anybody wants to check it out from earlier today, I went through this motion to recuse the judge that lists like verbatim the things that happened back there. And what they're alleging happened is that the judge pulled out the statute on perjury and said, look, this is what they're going to do to you if you don't cooperate and you don't testify the way they want, and this sort of thing. And he's basically, and by the way, if you want to take the fifth, I can hold you in jail, not until just this trial's over, but until the remaining 12 defendants. And this case is going to go on for years, but they were saying we've got 12 more defendants that we can try, and we can hold you in jail until all those cases get over too. So basically they're allegedly intimidating this witness, saying you're going to be held in jail almost indefinitely if you don't testify the way the prosecutor wants you to.
And so because people get confused a little bit as well, but they'll trust it more coming from your mouth. Prosecution can meet with their witnesses. They can prep their witnesses. Once the witnesses started testifying and they're under oath, they cannot correct or not coerce, but they can't correct or guide the testimony. Yeah. That's unlawful.
Yeah, they're not supposed to do that.
The prosecution, as a strategic decision, can decide to give immunity to people. It's not the judge's discretion to do that. So the prosecution allegedly gave this guy immunity to testify.
Yeah, but they didn't give him federal immunity. He's a felon with guns, and that raises lots of potential federal charges. And so they gave him state immunity, but they didn't give him federal immunity. So when he first started testifying, his lawyer said, look, you need to take the fifth because you're not fully protected here. It's the same advice I would have given. It's good, solid advice to a witness like this. But the judge threw him in jail anyway, saying if you don't, if they've given you immunity, you're going to have to testify. You can go to jail until you get ready to testify.
I mean, it's wild. So he started testifying Friday, then he took the fifth and apparently aggressively took the fifth. The judge didn't take kindly to that because this is the star witness to tie in the RICO charges against young Thug. Now, the meeting took place presumably with prosecution. Was it Fani Willis herself or another prosecutor?
The allegations are from the motion to recuse that I went over today. It was the prosecutor Love and one named Hilton, also present, maybe a sheriff's deputy. They did have a court reporter present, the judge, of course. And if there was anybody else there, and the witness, if there was anybody else there, they didn't reference it.
Okay. And did the witness have, so we don't know if the witness had an attorney.
Witness does have an attorney. Okay. So yeah, the witness's attorney would have been there.
So the only places that Steele could get this information are from any of those people. And I'm just trying to make an educated guess. I would imagine if the guy's taking the fifth and he's a little bit pissed, maybe the witness, is there any chance the witness is not colluding with? But
well, it was hypothetically, perhaps, possibly, absolutely 100% the lawyer for the witness, in my opinion.
Who did not like the legalities of what he saw?
Well, I mean, it's a she in this case, but yeah, that's right. And look, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with that. The judge can't swear her to secrecy about an illegal meeting in the first place, right? So there's nothing wrong with telling the defense counsel, Viva, what happened back there in this meeting. And that's part of what's so frustrating about this is the judge is seeming to act like this is the Lindbergh baby kidnapping or something. He's going on this witch hunt, the Captain Queeg with the strawberry kind of thing, where he's just on this mission. He's going to find out who leaked his secret ex parte meeting, just come hell or high water.
Who's the witness's lawyer? Do we know her name?
Its last name's Bumpus. I don't know her personally. She happened to be there, by the way, just filling in. The guy's regular lawyer apparently had a long planned vacation, and so he went on vacation. I do know where because I've been emailing with him. He's a friend of mine, but I won't say where. So he had another lawyer covering for him the day all this went down, and my goodness, I'm sure she's regretting it.
Okay, well, let's bring this back here. Is this yours or is this mine?
For purposes of record. Well, I'm going forward.
Okay, this one's yours.
What
So
I was told
Same
was that
thing.
Mr. Copeland said, and you haven't answered my question yet. I'm not going to answer that question. You're not? No,
Oh,
I will
love
not
that.
answer that question. Why will you not answer that question? Because
Why do you
I want
think-
to make sure that what I say is accurate, and I'm not trying to get
No.
anybody else.
I'm asking you, how did you get this information?
I'm not telling the court. What I'm saying is based upon information.
Okay, well, listen, if you don't tell me how you got this information, then you and I are going to have some problems.
I paused it. Sorry.
Yep.
Viva. So
Go,
look,
please.
here's the thing. You notice the judge is skipping over the part of like
The meeting.
Brian confronted him first. Like, Brian's like, did you do this? And he's skipping over the part about him being guilty allegedly of this improper meeting.
well,
and he's going straight for who told you.
No, but I think he doesn't all but he confirms it later on by referring to it as proprietary information. We'll get there. It's such a wild term.
You can have this. I have problems right now.
Okay, I know. Look, I don't want to know about your problems. Okay, at this point in time, all I'm asking you at this point in time is, how did you come upon this information? If the case gets reviewed, the record's going to be available for our appellate court and for whatever reason. But it's disturbing that how somehow you have surreptitiously gotten information in regards to the court's private ex parte conversation with a party.
He confirms it.
Yes. A witness who was sworn in Friday. The court's telling. This is what I was told. If this is not true, not true. This court handed Mr. Copeland.
Tell me how you got the information.
Listen.
Tell me how you got the information. Then we can go ahead and go.
So
forward.
I can go put the other lawyer in jail.
What I'm going to say is this. I was told, and I hope this concerns the court.
It concerns me that you have proprietary information.
Proprietary information
that you should not be having, that was ex parte.
Why?
With a party.
Why?
State of Georgia.
How about the witness? How about Mr. Copeland, who supposedly announced he's not testifying and he'll sit for 2 years, and then supposedly this honorable court, or excuse me, let me rephrase that. This court supposedly said, I can hold you until the end of this trial. Ms. Hilton supposedly said, actually, all of the defendants and then all 26 people are disposed of. If that's true, what this is coercion, witness intimidation, ex parte communications that we have a constitutional right to be present for.
Because both the judge and the prosecutor want the conviction.
I understand that you're upset towards me, but I don't know what I did.
Mr. Steele, I still want to know, how did you come upon this information? Who told you?
What I want to know is why wasn't I there?
Why, sir, I'm going to hold you in contempt if you don't tell me who this.
Tell me
who this information was
come from. I don't want to be held in contempt. Well, then answer that question.
What I love is
attorney-client privilege information.
Why wasn't I there?
Attorney-client privilege, unless you were in my chambers, that's the only way you can figure out. I tell you what, I'm going to give you 5 minutes. If you don't tell me if you don't tell me who it is, I'm going to put you in. I'm going to put you in contempt because
look at the
attorney-client privilege.
Bailiff coming there.
Attorney work product privilege. Security. I am not.
How did you get that information supposedly from my chambers? Did somebody tell you?
I'm not. You should have told me.
Oh,
you got 5 minutes.
That's for me to know and you to find out.
Continue.
You got 5 minutes.
This is what I was told, Mr. Copeland.
And listen to what he says here. Don't take my notes.
That he admitted to killing Donovan Thomas.
Listen now.
Don't take my notes. No.
Don't take my notes. The cop is coming, smacking on the table. Don't take my notes.
And did you see the prosecutor telling the court reporter to stop taking it down?
I did not see that. Bring that back.
Just at the very end. Yeah. It's like in the last couple of seconds.
Hold on, I can do that? Okay, here we go. No, you're doing that. Okay, go.
To killing Donovan Thomas.
Oh, my goodness.
Don't take my notes. No.
Don't take. This is corruption of. First of all, okay, so the judge found him in contempt, ordered him to spend 20 days in jail to be served on the weekends. The guy said, if I'm going to jail, can I go to Young Thug's jail so we can prep on the weekends? And he said, yeah, I'll think about it. Get this dog's wet and smelly. That was vacated, or how do they refer to it? Overturned.
The Supreme Court stayed it. The Supreme Court of Georgia. There was some. I'll spare you the details. There was some confusion about whether it should go to the Supreme Court or the Court of Appeals, because murder cases go directly to the Supreme Court in Georgia, and one of the defendants somewhere in the indictment has a murder count, and so. But even though this is an ancillary collateral thing, it was the motion, emergency motion for a stay and for a bond, a supersedious bond, was filed in the Court of Appeals. Court of Appeals transferred it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, well, we're not sure we're supposed to have it either, but we'll keep it since we do know that we have the authority to do so. We're going to do it anyway. We'll just keep it, send everything here. And oh, by the way, Mr. Steele doesn't have to go to jail till we sort this out. So the Supreme Court, I mean, I predicted it was going to happen in 24 hours. I think it took 36.
And what's going to potentially happen to the judge? I mean, this should be immediate ethics review.
Yeah, and it's my understanding, I've got it on good authority, the Georgia Judicial Qualifications Commission, which is the state agency that polices judges and their ethics, is already open to file on this. What happens and how fast it happens is anybody's guess. But I think that I think it goes without saying that what the judge did was wrong. I think it violated Georgia's rules on ex parte proceedings or ex parte discussions. There are certain limited reasons why you can have a one side, like if it's related to scheduling. Another example, let's say I'm a court appointed lawyer and I'm representing somebody that's indigent. And let's say as part of my strategy, I'm going to need an expert witness to testify that the police screwed up a crime scene. Okay. And so I need to go to I'm going to need money, public money for my defense for an expert over and above what they're paying me by the hour, what the government's paying me to represent this indigent client. I am allowed to go on an ex parte to see the judge and say, Judge, please sign this order approving my $4,000 for funds to hire an expert witness for my defense because I'm pursuing this particular strategy. That's permissible because the judge has to approve it, and it's permissible because I don't have to show the prosecutor what my strategy is. So there are certain limits to it. So there's some things that you can do ex parte, but very, very few, and none of those exceptions to the otherwise outright prohibition apply.
It's amazing. I didn't notice the hand gestures. Someone said, that's also going viral on YouTube or on the social medias. It's amazing. This is why they don't want to broadcast in as much as they can live trials. What we've witnessed is nothing shy of pure judicial corruption. So they want. I didn't know that Young Thug is a Trump supporter. That makes it a little more sense in terms of the viciousness with which they're going after him. All right. Well, I mean, what do we expect? But the next step in this is going to be what? Well, I mean, are they going to ask for? Is Steele going to ask for a mistrial? Would this be sufficient?
Oh,
for
yeah.
A
There's definitely there's multiple motions. There's motions for mistrial almost every day. But see, every day something new and crazy happens. There's like a 30-second clip I put in there. This guy
here.
I don't recall any conversation with Detective Thorpe.
I understand you can slow it down, but I'm gonna keep asking you these questions. So, do you recall texting or telling Detective Thorpe that another guy called you and said that those people were just lying?
I don't recall.
What the? This is the witness that was in the ex parte meeting, and he's still on the stand. He clearly doesn't want to be there. I mean, and I shared that with you because this summarizes perfectly how the trial is going today. It's just.
So he's testifying. Let me say this: he's testifying. He was given state immunity, but not federal immunity. But he is, in theory, testifying against Young Thug. But now he seems to be protecting Young Thug.
Well, he's certainly not answering the questions the way the prosecutor wants. She's trying apparently to nail him down on some things he previously said to law enforcement. It goes back to an arrest and that was his some time ago, and he was facing certain charges. And in the process, he allegedly said to the police, "I know about all these crimes and some others that haven't happened yet." And so he supposedly came forward and spilled the beans on Thug and his alleged gang. And so his credibility, though, is it is what it is. I mean, he's a convicted felon. He's got plenty of reasons to lie, but now he's backing up, and the prosecutor's saying, well, he's backing up because he's afraid of those people. And by that, the defendants are saying, we got nothing to do with this. He's just a squirrely guy. I mean, you just don't know. He's all over and the jury is having to sit through all of this. And by the way, the trial some people said it might take until 2026 or 2027. They're not even halfway through with the witnesses, I don't think. It took them almost a year to pick a jury, or at least maybe it was a year.
Shut up.
And then they have 12 others still to go.
Oh my goodness.
Fani Willis and her giant RICO cases that the court can't digest.
Well, Fani did not get reelected yet. She's up in November if she's still in good standing. What's you're deeper in the weeds on this. The ethics complaints that were initially withdrawn. Is she facing any current ethics challenges?
Oh, yeah. I mean, as far as that, yes. I mean, I know of a couple that I know of that have been, but I don't know the status. And the state bar takes a while to resolve those things. I don't see that those are going to be resolved in the foreseeable future. The bigger question for her is she going to be able to stay on the Trump RICO case, or is she going to get booted by the Court of Appeals? My money is on her being booted. I think that I did a stream on this too, where I looked at the 3 judges on the appeals court panel, and they come from pretty red parts of the state. So assuming politics plays a role in this, but of course we know politics never plays a role. But anyway, if it does, she's definitely flying into the headwinds here. I think that the odds are better than 50-50 that she's going to be booted from the case. And then if that happens, what we don't know is, are they going to dismiss the indictment too? Or is it going to be an indictment without a prosecutor?
Well, yeah, they'll try to find another prosecutor.
Well, but they may not be able to. There's a state agency that, first off, that agency has to decide, do they want to find one? And if so, who's it going to be? And no other prosecutor is going to want to touch this thing. It's like, because they would have to start over from the beginning and then decide even if there was even a crime that was committed. So if it went to another prosecutor, it's probably dead as well.
I want to bring this one up. Yeah, I didn't get that reference at all, by the way. Not only that I'm Canadian, I don't watch football and haven't watched football in a long time. So yeah, I understand maybe someone was cheating with hand gestures. I didn't get it. But now, what happens to the judge booted so for the judge, it's a jury trial, criminal. The judge in theory could get swapped out, or would they have to start the trial all over again?
Yeah. So I was having this conversation with a judge friend of mine today. Ex parte. No, we were talking about it. And so it's uncommon, but you can have a judge, let's say a judge gets sick or something in the middle of a trial, right? Or for whatever reason, can't finish it out. Jeopardy attaches for purposes of double jeopardy. So the law makes a provision that if there's a good reason, a judge can change in the middle of a trial.
Yeah, because it's not like I mean, there might be some decisions or rulings that judge had started ruling on, or objections that were made under that new judge. But to the extent it's all the law, presumably another judge can just as easily jump in as matters of law. Okay, well, that's wild. Phil, ordinarily I don't do this, but I'm going to do my second sponsor. I hate doing it when there's someone in the chat, but maybe this is going to be good for you too, Phil. Hold on a second. Do you have an emergency contagion kit handy just in case we get locked down again? Oh, I'm taking.
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm saying
I have all sorts of emergency supplies. We won't get into that for operational security reasons.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Phil, April 23rd, media outlets began to flood headlines with the latest avian flu development. The FDA said, quote, it had detected viral particles of H5N1 avian influenza in milk purchased at grocery stores. While the FDA cautioned that they believe the milk is still safe to drink, others are sounding the alarm. According to a new report, Dr. Topol, founder of Scripps Research Translational Institute, said the findings of viral particles in milk on grocery store shelves means the outbreak is probably more widespread than we've known. The dissemination to cows is far greater than we've been led to believe, Topol said in an email Tuesday. The FDA assurance that dairy supply is safe is nice, but it's not based on an extensive assessment yet. Plus, the FDA tends to get everything wrong in any event. Chief Medical Board of the wellness company has been closely watching the avian flu. They've given it the very scary H5N1 name outbreak in the United States over the last few weeks. While it's far from certain that the recent strand of the bird flu will result in a pandemic, they can still lie about it or pretend that it did or genetically modify it to make sure that it does. We know that the medical tyrants are never going to be done with us. And with scientists still saying that the bird flu strain could be 100 times more deadly than COVID, I'm not sure how deadly that makes it, but whatever. And knowing that it's an election year, Americans should now more than ever be prepared. Do you have what your family needs this time around? Because many doctors still won't even consider prescribing ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, but we've got you covered. Keep listening. The only one of its kind. It's not available. It's only available in the United States. So Canadians, I don't know what you got to do to get one. The prescription Contagion emergency kit from the wellness company provides you with a carefully sorted assortment of medical medications for bird flu, COVID-19, and other respiratory illnesses: ivermectin, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, Tamiflu, budesonide, along with a nebulizer so you can rest easy knowing you have the emergency meds on hand, along with the guidebook. It's prescription. You got to fill out a form, and it comes with a very detailed guidebook. Backed by researchers like Dr. Peter McCullough, the wellness company's emergency kit is a must-have. Go get one. Everyone should have one. If you put in the promo code VIVA at TWC/Viva, no, TWC Health/Viva, thewellnesscompany.health/Viva. You get $30 off your first kit or your kit plus free shipping at checkout. Get one. You need one. Everybody wants to have one. And unfortunately, Canadians are going to have to be jealous that Americans will have their emergency meds on hand. The link is in the description. Phil, let's do it. I mean, you can say it and you can let me know when you want to leave, but you can say
I got like 2 or 3 minutes, but let me say this. Maybe one day when I grow up and get my big boy Law Tube streamer pants, maybe I'll get a sponsor too over at Inside the Law.
You need. Oh yeah, the color I'm told is teal or salmon.
I would say salmon for sure.
Yeah, I don't wear pants anymore. Once upon a time, I only wore pants, and now I only wear shorts. Let me pick your brain on one thing. Oh geez, who is it? It's well, no, Bannon. I don't think I need to pick your brain on. Oh, for goodness sake! Oh, let's Bannon.
Hunter?
No, the Hunter, the conviction. What was the other one? Hold on, let me check my What do you have coming up, by the way?
I'm getting ready to take a little vacation, so I'm going to be under or sort of off the radar, but not entirely. I might do some pop-up streams, short ones from parts unknown from the secret bunker or secret lair, Fortress of Solitude, coming up in the next couple of weeks.
The question was Merrick Garland, found in contempt. This was my question. So Merrick Garland, and I'll get to it in detail when you're not here, but he was found in they voted to find him in contempt. Who would need to bring the contempt charges against the Attorney General?
The Attorney General.
Okay. Well,
yeah, well, I mean, look, Bill Barr was in contempt. They found him in contempt, and Eric Holder back in the day in the Obama administration, they found him in contempt. And so it's symbolic, but that's really all that it is. I mean, at least with the Mayorkas guy, that it was more than symbolic. At least they could at least send it to the Senate to see if anything would happen as far as the impeachment. But so impeachment is symbolic, but contempt is entirely symbolic.
Okay. All right. I'll read that news anyhow, and we're gonna end it on YouTube and head on over to Rumble. Phil, where can people find you?
At Inside the Law on Rumble and on YouTube, and of course locals Inside the Law as well. Any or all of those places, check it out. And look, I'm zeroing in pretty quickly. My next goal is 50,000 subscribers. I just started this in March, so I've been very, very humbled and blessed and surprised by the growth. But I'm trying to get to 50,000, so maybe I'll be there by the time I come back from the Fortress of Solitude.
Booyah. Well, from your mouth to the internet overlord's ears, Phil, you do great stuff, and you'll come back on. I'll come back on.
Anytime, brother. You're always welcome with me as well. And
Thank you very much. Okay, go. I'll text you later. All right, fantastic. Before we head over to, we're going to go over to Rumble. We're going to go over to locals as well. What was I going to do? Yes, Rumble, rants, and tips in our locals community, because one of them is hilarious. I like Phil, and I like the way he talks. I love the Southern accent. I've always loved it. And he reminds me of the guy from Whammy from Anchorman. What was his name? Not Brick. You got Brick. Oh, the weather guy from Anchorman. Once you see it, you'll never be able to unsee it. Lord of the Reeses. I like my coffee how I like my women with no penis. Well, just wait until you get the penis blend, Lord of the Ree. It's especially hard to grind. Oh my gosh, I'm done. Okay, Lord of the Ree says, just want to give a shout out to my buddy Zeb Boykin. He started a podcast and deserves a much larger following than he has now. And not just because it features some of my music. It's really good stuff. Zeb Boykin, people. Check it out. And then we got, let me bring this out of here. We got tips in our local community, and they're hilarious. Tim Adderholt says, Viva, this Judge Glanville in Georgia is fourth world lord of the flies insanity. Fourth world lord of the flies insanity. Just watched Phil's earlier show. Love you both. It's crazy. And did you notice how the judge got especially aggressive? Both times, Steele said, I should have been there. And like when he was defiant and righteously defiant, that's when the judge got the most aggressive in his response. Ganthet, $5 tip says, Viva, you have to stop talking about how you like tall, dark men, your ass hurting, and someone slipping in the back. Just please no, LOLs. We got Cliff Norman, who says, from Matt Gaetz, this is the quote from Matt Gaetz, I believe the only way Steve Bannon does not go to jail is if there is a vote at an entity called the BLAG, the Bipartisan Legal Advisory Group, end quote. Gaetz said, adding, quote, it is made up of the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, the Majority Whip, the Minority Leader, and the Minority Whip. So the Republicans hold a 3-2 in this, end quote. Have either of you heard of this? And does this undo the illegal establishment of the January 6th committee? I'm going to get to that in a second. Cliff Norman. Tim Adderholt says, this is what being tread on looks like. Now, back to that question. Are we on Steve Bannon? We're on Steve Bannon. We're going to get to that answer over on Rumble. Let me give everybody the link to Rumble. I don't think I'm going to take my answer for with a grain of salt because it's not my area of expertise, but I think I know a part of it. And I've never heard of the BLAG, though, but we'll answer that over on Rumble after I give everybody the link to Rumble and the link to Locals. Bada bing, bada boom. Let's do this. And there were some tips here that super chats. What do we got here? Operational security at this point, buy ammo, and my Patriots ref wasn't that obscure. David got that signals were stolen from my ref. Yeah, no, I understand how football works. I used to watch football. Then it stopped being fun to watch. John S. Hand signals. So the Georgia court system is the new New England Patriots and Weekend at Bernie's. Okay, we're going to end on YouTube and Twitter and vote with our eyes, vote with our feet, vote with our dollars, and come on over to Rumble and or Locals. Ending on YouTube, the entire stream will be on podcast format and on Viva clips, which I should probably turn into Viva replay, but whatever. That's where the entire stream is going to be for those of you watching on YouTube. Boom, done on YouTube. And now we're going to be done on Twitter, which I hate Twitter on StreamYard because it counts views as viewers and it's very distracting. Ending on Twitter now. Okay. People, I think we're still good on Rumble. Oh, Bill Tong, I just missed it. Sorry about that, but we'll get Bill Tong's purple super chat. King of Biltong, good afternoon from Anton's Meat and Eat. 10% off with code VIVA10 for your Biltong on BiltongUSA.com and AntonUSA.com for purchases qualified for free shipping. Else, use code VIVA for free shipping. And Benjamin the Dream Wizard says, Viva Rumble. Crash Bandits is now it's time to party. It is. We're gonna start with Steve Bannon to get to that question. So Steve Bannon has filed, call it an emergency appeal to stay his imprisonment pending the exhaustion of his other appeals of the substantive conviction for contempt of congressional subpoenas. Speaking of coffee, okay. So he's filed an emergency motion to stay out of jail while he runs the gamut of his options and recourse appealing the conviction. Okay. He's got some very, very strong legal arguments as per the filing, which I'm not going to walk through. If you want to see the detailed walkthrough of the filing itself, Govea goes through it in meticulous detail. Bottom line, Steve Bannon saying, I've got very strong arguments on the merits. I was not allowed to raise certain substantive defenses, such as reliance on professional opinion, such as the subpoena being invalid prima facie. What's the word? Ab initio. I don't know if nullity ab initio is going to be the right word for the subpoena. The subpoena was invalid because it was not formed by a lawfully formed committee. The January 6th committee was not lawfully formed, period, in accordance with the very resolution that authorized the creation of the January 6th committee. It was supposed to have 5 Republicans, 7 Democrats. The Republicans were supposed to be appointed by the Republican side. As it was, it had 2 Republicans, that horrible woman, Liz Cheney, and that horrible man, Adam Kinzinger. And they weren't even appointed by Republicans. They were appointed by Nancy Pelosi. So it didn't meet quorum. It didn't satisfy the legal requirements as per that House Resolution 503, whatever it was. So it was unlawful from the get-go. So there's a legal argument as to how an unlawful committee can issue a legally binding subpoena. That wasn't answered because Steve Bannon wasn't allowed to raise that as a defense. Other defenses that he was not allowed to raise, because you have your kangaroo show trials. in which guilt has not been pre-adjudicated, except it has because they are forbidden, prohibited from raising certain legal defenses. Couldn't raise if the subpoena was unlawful because the committee was illegal. Couldn't raise reliance on professional advice because the lawyer said, you don't need to rely on this. And thus, in Bannon's mind, he was not willfully committing an act of breaking the law because he didn't think he had to abide by it based on legal advice. Not allowed. Prosecution comes in and says Bannon is guilty, and he can't say, but I'm innocent. And he gets convicted. Surprise, surprise. So he says, I've got very strong arguments on the merits. Apparently, the case law that was, that is pertinent does not support the conviction in this case anyhow. I don't think anybody's been convicted of contempt of congressional subpoena, but I think someone was charged like decades ago. And so he says, I've got great strong arguments on the merits. Thus, I should be kept out of jail pending the exhausting of my appeal remedies. Because if I go to jail, 4 months, I'll be out by the time my appeal is heard, undoubtedly. He also argues, and I don't like the argument because in as much as people are going to argue that the conviction was a political conviction, the argument raised that I need to be out because my voice needs to be heard because I'm the number one, not influencer, but populist voice advisor to the Trump campaign and the people. In as much as people are going to say, well, so keep me out so I can keep my voice alive until the election. In as much as people say it's a politically charged conviction, well, you've given the fodder to say, well, we're not going to give a politically motivated stay of imprisonment. But he's raised a bunch of good arguments. And now the question is going to be, does he go to jail pending his appeal process, running the process, which is going to take more time than his 4 months in jail. Also not an accident. He's going to go to jail in July, August, September, October. And there's that little thing on my fifth finger called the election in November. I think he's going to jail, period. I think he's going to go to jail. I think it's going to go to jail. And oddly enough, I think it's not going to silence Bannon's voice. I think it's going to amplify it, a la Barbara Streisand. These idiots don't seem to learn. But I think he's going to jail. I don't think he's succeeding on this motion. We'll see. The question that this all was predicated on was Matt Gaetz saying that the only way to stop him from going to jail is to use this BLAG, Bipartisan Legal Advisory Group. I've never heard of it. And the question was, so the Republicans hold the 3 to 2 seats. Have either of you heard of this? I have not, but I'll ask Barnes on Sunday for sure. And does this undo the illegal establishment of the Jan 6 committee? I think the answer to that is going to be no. Like, I don't understand how the illegal formation of the committee has not produced the results that you would expect from a committee being illegally formed. They are so far gone on this lie. They are so deep in this fantasy land that they're not even revisiting the idea or entertaining the idea. And I don't know, I'm a former Quebec lawyer. I just, gather as much information as I can as I look into these things. I don't know who would come in and declare that committee was unlawfully formed, thus undoing 3 years of investigations, eight primetime streamed committee hearings, findings that were used in court proceedings to jail people. I mean, I'm fairly certain the committee report was used in, I'm fairly certain, I might be wrong, but fact check me. I'll Google it right now. I'm fairly certain the committee report was referenced or used in the conviction of the Jan 6ers. I'm fairly certain it was referenced and used in the Colorado removal of Trump from the ballot hearings. So, I mean, you're asking a court to undo something that other courts have basically taken judicial notice of or have used as evidence in their court filings. It's like when Tommy Robinson was talking about the Syrian kid and the hoax of the Syrian kid assault by a white nationalist racist kid in London, in Luton, where Tommy Robinson is from. And by the time politicians have invoked that alleged hoax of a racist hate crime incident against a Syrian refugee, by the time they've referenced that in like global political arenas, they are never going to admit the truth because they can't. So I don't think unless there's a red tide, a Republican Trump presidency, and committees set up to look into this and then penalize those who broke the law. And I think people did break the law. I don't know what happens. So it's a long-winded answer of saying I don't think anything's going to happen. But what the hell do I know? I'm just a Quebec Chinook who does my best to understand the world in which we live. Finboy Slick says, just leaving my latest pack of Viva meme pictures in case you missed him. Rambo 3 times. Oh, look at this. You know what? A lot of people tell me I do look like Sylvester Stallone. We got this one. It's beautiful. Oh, we can go like this. This one. Oh, is that good? I kind of like those scars. And oh, is that beautiful? It's beautiful, Finboy. A work of art. So that's what's going on with Bannon. It's a freaking outrage and a freaking injustice. And why have I never asked Bannon to be on the channel? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on. Does Steve want to come on the channel this week? Question mark. Or next week? Question mark. I forgot it's Thursday. So that's what's going on with Steve Bannon. I'm not optimistic. I think he's going to go to jail. I mean, Navarro's already in jail. The decisions rendered in the Navarro case, which was based on virtually identical fact pattern, I think has set the judicial precedent that, barring the Supreme Court, and even then, Bannon's going to go to jail. I love what he said. He said, you know, he served his country in the well, I think it was in the Navy. He served his country as a veteran, and he doesn't mind, if he has to, serving his country as a political prisoner. And that is exactly what he would be. That's exactly what Navarro is. That's exactly what the vast majority of the Jan 6ers are. And I would go a step further to say that's even what the violent Jan 6er victims are, because in as much as any precedent had been set as to what the appropriate commensurate punishment is for even bona fide violence against cops, what they are going through is a two-tiered level of justice and a two-tiered level of punishment. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, let's get to the other story of the day, which was Merrick. Well, this is not the story of today. This is the story of yesterday. And then we're going to go to what's going on with Rumble, because it's actually kind of wild. Merrick Garland in contempt of court for refusal. I remember when Eric Holder was found to be in contempt of Congress because he refused to produce the documents as to the illegal activity that the Obama administration was up to in the Fast and Furious gun running. Well, we have to sell guns illegally to the cartel so that we can see where they are when they kill people with those guns that we illegally sold them. House GOP votes to hold Garland in contempt. And they did it yesterday. What was it? 217 to 206 or something. But the bottom line, look, we don't need to get into the weeds of this or the CNN story. The bottom line is Congress, and not some bullshit illegally formed committee. Congress asked that Garland produce the recording of the interview of her with Joe Biden. The wild thing about this is, I don't know if they're obstructing this to create something of a smokescreen, or they're obstructing and not producing the recording because it would reveal something very, very bad. It could be either or. You will recall Robert Hur interviewed Joe Biden, produced his report of, despite Joe Biden mishandling classified information, despite Joe Biden revealing classified information to a ghostwriter for a novel that he was getting paid $8 million for, no reasonable person would bring charges against him because he's a demented old fool who is unfit to stand trial. He didn't say it that way. That's my reading of it. It's an amazing thing, right? Like, no reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against Hillary Clinton for her mishandling of classified information. No reasonable prosecutor would bring charges against Joe Biden for his mishandling of classified information. But Trump is going to face charges up the wazoo. It's amazing how that works. So Hur met with Joe Biden for 5 hours over 2 days while October 7 was happening. So Joe Biden was giving him so many 5 hours over 2 days. Dude, okay, whatever. And there were some questions as to Joe Biden's mental acuity in the context of that meeting. And people were railing against Robert Hur that he maliciously characterized Joe Biden's answers to certain questions as relates to whether or not he remembered when his son Beau died. And the left-wing media was like, oh my God, how dare he mischaracterize it? He remembered damn well the date, and Robert Hur is a liar. Well, why the hell would they not release the recording of that meeting? I mean, apparently the press wants the recording. So it's not even like it's just a purely right-wing, conservative, GOP political push for this. The mainstream media, legacy media, left-wing blue checkmark hacks want this information as well. Why would Merrick Garland not produce the audio recording upon which the executive summary was based? The transcript. They have the transcript, but they don't have the audio. Why might they refuse? Did I just spit there? Probably did. Why might they refuse to provide the recording of the transcript that they've already provided? How is it logically consistent to say, you don't have a right to the audio, but we've given you the transcript? Might it be because the transcript doesn't match the audio? Probably. So anyways, Garland refused to comply with a congressional subpoena to produce it, and they voted yesterday. Let me see here. The House of Representatives voted Wednesday to hold U.S. Attorney Merrick Garland in contempt of Congress for refusing to turn over subpoenaed audio recordings. The recordings are of Joe Biden's interview with former special counsel Robert Hur, who investigated Biden's mishandling, declined to bring charges yet. White House have previously pointed out that the Department of Justice have already provided transcripts and has complied with the other aspects. So send us the audio so that we can see if the audio matches the transcripts. And the vote was 206 to 207. Now the question is, I asked Phil Holloway, who's going to bring the charges against the Merrick Garland? Well, that would be him. I have brought charges. I mean, it would be an amazing thing to say, screw it, I'll bring charges against myself, and I'll make sure I'll submit myself to justice. It's not going to happen. No one's above the law, except Hillary, except Biden, except Garland, except Eric Holder. So we'll see where that goes. Oh, it illustrates the double standard hypocrisy. Not that any of us needed any more evidence of that, but that's where it's at. Let me see here. Okay, I'm not reading that. I'm just checking out the chat here. Going to go back to Viva Barnes Law before we get into the Rumble. Actually, hold on. I'll read this one because it might be a good segue. Crash Bandit says, I have been trading Rumble. That's Rumble. Over the last 6 months, I've invested my union vacation fund or vacation fund into it in October, and I think I am up 4 or 5K invested. So is it back on sale? No one is above the law, says Jacob Castro. But who is the blob? Okay, fine. But no, on the topic of Rumble. So it's an amazing thing. Chris put this out the other day. Oh, he put this out today. I put out a bunch of tweets today. Rumble is going after Google for a number of reasons. They're suing them. And they're suing them for anti-monopolistic practices or monopolistic practices, anti-free market practices. Alleging that Google is skewering search results. Google is, I won't say parasitically, but Google is misdirecting traffic to YouTube away from Rumble because they have the largest search engine on earth, Google, which owns the largest video hosting platform on earth, YouTube. And when you go search for a video that is otherwise only on Rumble, the results default go to YouTube. How that happens, who the hell knows? And there's a number of arguments that they're raising, saying that Google has been screwing them, misappropriating funds from them in terms of what revenues would be generated if they gave honest search results that would generate traffic for Rumble, among other things. Listen to this. This is what Google had unearthed by way of a video. Going back, let me see here. This is Chris Pavlovsky says, breaking news, our legal team has unearthed, stop it, don't play it, has unearthed the video of Google's former VP of search products, Marissa Mayer, laughing to Google recruits about preferencing Google-owned products in Google search. This, I think, is going to be more in the anti-monopolistic or the monopolistic abuses lawsuit, where they're saying Google is acting as a monopoly, maliciously so, and actually driving up the cost of advertising for the victims of their monopolistic practices. This will be Exhibit 1 in our self-preferencing antitrust lawsuit against Google. Listen to this. It's actually quite wild.
So the question was, on our stock quotes, when you type in different tickers, you see little charts appear on the top of the page. And we used to have Yahoo first, and now Google is first. And I think the answer was that, I mean, if I recall history correctly, we didn't actually have Google Finance until about a year ago. So up until then, we were actually ordering the links based on various published metrics like ComScore and Media Metrics. So we had the 5 top finance sites in their order of popularity listed there. So when we rolled out Google Finance, we did put the Google link first. So it's only fair, right? We do all the work for the search page and all these other things. So we do put it first. And that's actually been a policy then because of finance we implemented in other places. So for Google Maps, again, it's the first link and so on and so forth. And then after that, it's ranked usually by popularity.
You know what's amazing? It's like they've been telling us what they've been doing forever, but unless you're looking for it or unless you're looking to, unless it's relevant to you, you miss it. And like when someone tells you who they are, listen. Now, I'm able to think like a scoundrel, and it's not because I am one. It's because I used to be a lawyer for a long time, and holy crap, be a lawyer for as long as it takes to build character, but not long enough to destroy your soul. I can think like a scoundrel. And what's Google going to say? That's an old video. We don't do that anymore. They built their company off these principles. They built their company off exploiting their some people might object to the term monopoly, but they fraudulently skewed results based on their market domination. Whether or not you want to call that anti or monopolistic practices, anti-free market practices, it is at the most charitable. They made money and they exploited their market dominance to fraudulently misrepresent search results. And they're alleged to be doing basically that to their own benefit now, as far as marketing goes, as far as advertising goes, as far as preferencing Google's own products. And they unearthed that. So they're going to say, we don't do that anymore. Well, that certainly opens the door to some discovery. And they say, if you're going to say that's not what you do anymore, well, then you're admitting that it was a policy at a given point in time. Can we see when it ceased being a company policy? Can we see when you remedied the fraudulent unlawfulness of what was her name? Marissa Mayer admitted to in this video. And oh my goodness, what if they haven't? What if they've just found different ways of doing it? So that was it's a fantastic clip that will certainly lend some credence to the allegations in that lawsuit. Even if the scoundrel defense is going to be, we don't do that anymore. It was right about it at the time when we stopped using the motto, don't be evil, that we stopped being evil. We took away the motto because we had attained the epiphany of not being evil. We no longer needed the reminder of not being evil. I'm going to give everybody the link to that so you can share it around. Link to tweet. Bada bing, bada boom. Check out the NSA's data farm in Utah. Okay. It's fluid, Viva says, damn it, Janet. But that's not even the wildest thing. So it's a fantastic clip. Rumble is going to kick some serious ass. Can you imagine Chris Pavlovsky? I've known him for years personally, but I've known Rumble since before it was what it is today. I knew Rumble. I'll see if I can find the video in a second for like a decade. And it was the alternative cute dog video hosting platform to Rumble back in the day. Chris Pavlovsky is the tip of the spear when it comes to the fight for free speech and the fight against technological authoritarianism. And this guy, a humble, modest, wonderful person from, I think he's outside of Toronto, Canadian, is now at the forefront of fighting governments, fighting big tech, and fighting for free speech in the world, and fighting tech giants. It's wild. And getting feeling the brunt of the corruption across the world. You remember when certain scandals happen and they try to go after Rumble? It's, oh my goodness, Rumble's hosting people who say terrible things. We got to shut them down. Shut them down. Or don't list them if you're interested in this. So this is another thing. I'd never heard of the Russell 3000, but I do not pay attention to the market anymore because of an obsessive compulsive disorder. Makes for a lot of anxiety. And when you sit there refreshing markets, it can cause more stress than it relieves. So the Russell 3000, I guess, is sort of like it's the London Stock Exchange. The Russell 3000 apparently amalgamates 3,000 of the most, the biggest tech companies on one, what's the word I'm looking for? One exchange. And apparently they're not accepting Rumble into the 3,000, despite Rumble apparently meeting the criteria. Rumble is a publicly traded company. I believe the market cap was $6 billion last I checked. Let me see what the market cap is. Market cap Rumble. That's the price per share. I do not own one share in Rumble, and I will tell the world if and when I ever do. It's the market cap. Market cap is 1.62 billion. It's not a small company. It's the best company on earth with the best CEO on earth. Let me get the letter here. Okay. So Pavlovsky tweets out, despite meeting the criteria for the Russell 3000, the London Stock Exchange Group, LSEG Place, has deliberately decided to exclude Rumble from their index. What's more disturbing is their reason why, which is detailed in our letter to their CEO. Let's read this, shall we? I love this. I haven't read this yet. Rumble, David Schwimmer. Oh, so that's what he's doing after France. That's good for him. He's doing very well. I'm joking. It's not the same David Schwimmer. Dear Mr. Schwimmer, I would like to alert you to errors by the staff of the London Stock Exchange Group in connection with the determination of the Russell 3000 index. Despite our repeated requests, LSEG staff have failed to address obvious errors in calculations of the voting rights of Rumble Inc., leading to potential exclusions of Rumble from the Russell 3000 index. Excuse me. I urge you to correct this error immediately before the LSEG finalizes the Russell 3000 index and publishes misleading information to investors and the public. When the London Stock Exchange, group, published the preliminary Russell 3000 index in late May 2024, we noticed the omission of Rumble. We inquired with the staff, who informed us that Rumble was not included on the list because Rumble did not meet the index's minimum voting rights requirement. Upon investigation, we discovered that the LSEG staff's calculations were incorrect. Using the LSEG's formula and methodology, publicly held shares of Rumble make up at least publicly held shares make up 5.5% of the total voting rights of the company, placing Rumble above the Russell 3000 minimum threshold of 5%. The error in the math should have been obvious to the LSEG staff. Under their calculation, only 13 million shares of Rumble Class A common stock are in public hands. However, a quick glance at Rumble's filed proxy statement, disclosed that approximately 16 million shares are controlled by Dan Bongino. Mr. Bongino is an unaffiliated third-party shareholder who reported his holdings on Schedule 13G. Furthermore, shareholders of the Special Purpose Special Purpose Acquisition Company that Rumble combined with when it went public in September 2022 hold approximately 30 million Class A shares, none of which are held by company insiders. These two easily discernible facts alone show that the LSEG's claim of 13 million shares of Rumble Class A stock in public hands is wrong on its face. Let's bring this to page 2. On multiple occasions, since the release of the preliminary index, Rumble has sent emails noting the error, offered to place calls, yada, yada, yada. Every time LSEG staff have been unwilling to correct their mistake, citing the need to, quote, stay consistent, end quote, with their process. Their refusal to correct an obvious error does disservice to investors of the Russell 3000 index. If LSEG is unwilling to correct an obvious mistake related to Rumble, how many other companies are erroneously included in the Russell 3000 index or are erroneously excluded from it? Is it playing politics? Anyone considering whether to invest in the Russell 3000 index deserves to know the answer, yet without diligent investigation, the public may never know the extent to which the Russell 3000 index is contaminated by flawed or misleading information because its management chose to prioritize the consistency of its process over the accuracy of publicized data. That's a damn well-written letter. Before finalizing the Russell 3000 index, I hope you take this opportunity to rectify the deficiencies in the LSEG's process and correct the calculations, yada, yada, yada. Our team is available anytime to provide additional details or explanation. Michael J. Ellis, a man who I also know very well and who is a wonderful, fantastic person. Politics ruins everything. Which shirt am I wearing today, people? Politics ruins everything. Politics infuses everything. And if you don't take an interest in politics, it doesn't mean that politics will not take an interest in you, because it probably will. Okay, I hear some kids making noise. All right, I'm saving the last story, a couple of stories, for vivabarneslaw.locals.com. The dog is coming in. The dog ate gelatin. Wait. In the garbage, and leave her in here and close the door, and I'll be out in a second.
Is it working?
Yeah, get out, get out, get out. Yeah, it's working. Get out. Close the door, please. Apparently the dog is going to be pooping Jello. Yeah, Pudge ate some Jello or gelatin. Okay, people, did I mention that it's summertime in Florida and the kids are off school and I now have many children without my wife for the next week until we make our way back to behind the commie rainbow? Oh my goodness. Everybody, come on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com. Link to locals. The shop vac says Bill H. Harrison. The problem's not the shop vac. The problem is going to be, what is Pudge's poop going to look like after having consumed gelatin powder? Okay, everybody, thank you for being here. I'll be live tomorrow. I'm not sure at what time. We're going to have our Sunday show for sure on Sunday. What else? Go check out the Russell Brand interview and share it away because I think it was great. I think it was fantastic. I've been getting very, very good feedback, even from very, very tough critics of mine. So go check it out. Make sure that you are subscribed, hit the notification, all that other stuff. vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. Come on over there. We're going to be there for a bit. And that's it. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. Link one again. King of Biltong says, please remember to send me that email, Viva. Yes, that email. I have to remind myself as to what that email was. All right, doesn't matter. We are going to end on Rumble, and we're going to take this party on over to vivabarneslaw.locals.com for the after party. And that is it. Share my channel. You know what to do. All that other stuff. See you tomorrow. Locals, here I comes. Now can I explain how nervous I am? That dog ate Jello. Her poop is going to be gelatin. I mean, maybe it'll smell good at least. If I pick it, it'll smell like raspberries or cherry. Why was the gelatin on the ground? Why was the dog eating? Oh, it doesn't matter, people. Oh, we're in big problems here. Mighty Pay with a $1 tip says, Critical Thought. Everyone, please check out Robert Epstein's organization that is exposing Google's corrupted search results and election manipulation. Hold on a second. I'm going to Twitter right now, and I'm going to DM Robert Epstein and see if he can come on. Robert Epstein. My goodness. Names that have been ruined by very, very bad people. Epstein and Weinstein. Any chance you would come on for an interview to discuss all things Google? All right, done. Messaged Dr. Robert Epstein. Yeah, Epstein's been ruined. Weinstein has been ruined. Fogel has been ruined. Okay, so that was Mighty Pay. Mighty Pay, I've just DM'd him. We'll see where it goes. Viva, where is Amnesty International for all the political prisoners from January 6th? Where's the ACLU? I don't know what the ADL does anymore, but hold on. Look at this. She knows that she did something wrong. Look at this. She knows. Make sure. I could not help myself, Viva. I had to eat the poo-poo, the gelatin. All right, Phil Holloway just got bumped over 40,000. Phenomenal. Okay, let's see this here. So, Viva, where's everybody? Where's anybody? It's an absolute joke. Where is the higher courts? Where are justices with a little bit of backbone? Judges, I should say. Doug Leaf Fan says they have already admitted that they have altered the transcripts. Cliff Norman says, Viva, thanks for the explanation on the quorum for January 6th. Jordan was not allowed by Pelosi. No, it was a travesty of a formation of a purported bipartisan commission. A lie. And everything they did was a lie. Everything they produced was a lie. They, I presume, withheld or concealed that Nancy Pelosi video. They then, from what I understand, destroyed evidence because we no longer need it after they've provided their bullshit report. It's wild. It's wild. All right, let's go to the open chat and see what's going on here. Jello shooter pooper. Oh, I got so one of my kids has a friend here. My other kid has a friend here. Maybe we'll watch. I'm thinking I want the kids to watch A Bronx Tale. I don't know if I'm going to hate that movie watching it in retrospect again because of what Robert De Niro has turned into. But we're going to watch a good movie tonight. The story that I wanted to say for this, and I'll do a short standalone vlog for The interwebs. My nose is itchy. Hold on. Okay, so first of all, everybody, hold on. First things first. How was the interview yesterday? I'm a very neurotic individual, as you may or may not know. And my biggest fear is of insulting someone without knowing it, or unwittingly, or not desiring to insult. Okay, the two tips that I didn't get to yesterday. One was from Pam Walker, $3, says, please tell Russell thanks. He's 100% on track. And XGS Wood sent a $2 tip, says, Mr. Brand, do you like bourbon? And if so, what is your favorite? Russell Brand has been clean from drugs and including alcohol for 2 decades. So yeah, his favorite brand of bourbon is carbonated water. But Pam Walker, I will definitely tell him that, and I'll send him that screen grab. How was the interview? What does the pink highlight in the chat mean? Anyone know? It's Viva, owner of the channel. Hold on. Test? Does that come up as pink in the chat? Sad Wings Raging says, ain't nothing but steers and Democrats in the FBI, and I don't see no horns on the glowies. Ain't nothing but steers. Mighty Pest says, good interview. Boopsy says, I loved it. I'm fascinated with Russell Brand. Good. Okay, good. That's it. I don't need flattery. That was it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't the worst thing I've ever done. Ashley Merchant kicked ass Viva Friday. Did you see her defend Steele? No, I'm gonna have to go. I was trying to catch up with it today, but that bowling experience was the worst experience. Like, okay, so I appreciate not everybody takes bowling as seriously as I do, and I went with 3 kids, and I didn't want to be the guy that is the source of the kids retroactively not having had a good time. I presume when some people go bowling, it's sort of like playing darts. You know, if you're not a professional and you barely know the rules, you don't give a crap what your score is. The lane was so bloody dry that there was no way of shooting with a curve and not having it gutter ball every time. Can you imagine? We oil the lane once a week? I'm sorry. I have the good mind to burn this place down. Oh, I'm joking, obviously. Once a week, and they oiled it on Monday. Do you know what that? It's like you bowl on sandpaper, bowl on sand. And then if she tells me the lane is 6 feet short, why do I want to do that? What else? What's the other thing? Oh yeah, and it was $50 an hour. I'm sorry. Actually, let me really lay $50 an hour. $4 per person for shoes. We had to buy 1 pair of socks because some kid's not wearing socks for some reason. $4 for the socks. It came to $75 for 1 hour. American. That's like $100 Canadian for 1 hour of bowling with I guess it's 4 people. I got 1 strike, and it was the the what is it called? The knife or the gun yoga position where you stand on one leg and lift the other one. I did not enjoy the experience, and I will never, ever go back to that particular place. It's entertainment bowling. I was not expecting a bowling rant today, says N. Spence. Dude, I think the woman saw my unhappiness. Like, why would someone make a bowling alley 6 feet short? It's like, isn't that like making a car without wheels? Like, what the hell? Oh yeah, it's a nice car. It doesn't work the way a car should work. A car. Oh, it comes up blue when you chat, pink when someone tags you, Viva. Okay, good. I got that. And so it was the worst bowling experience of my life. Okay. Anyways, that's it. What was I just about to say? No, it was this. Where is it? Did I not? Oh, sorry, I didn't post the article. So you remember we talked about it a while back, and it was we covered the lawsuit. It was the father who was filing for an emergency injunction to prevent his autistic daughter from being administered medical assistance and dying because she had been approved for it by 2 doctors. His daughter is autistic, which I presume means, or alleged to be autistic, which I presume means can't consent, can't consent to certain things because she's not of legally sound mind when it comes to certain elements of contract, I imagine. So he filed an emergency injunction, and I forget what the issue was the first time around. I remember the judge said something that I found shocking. And yeah, the father has abandoned his appeal. So she's going to get deathed by a loving government. The woman's lawyers had said she was starving herself to death since she was being blocked access to maid. Starving yourself to death is clearly a sign of someone who can mentally consent to euthanasia. The Calgary father who desperately wants to block his adult daughter from ending her life through medical assistance and dying, euthanasia, mercy killings, has abandoned his appeal of the court ruling saying the procedure can go ahead. Court records show the father filed notices of discontinuance or discontinuing 2 separate appeals, which lifted an injunction blocking the autistic woman's access to maid. Reached Wednesday evening, Sarah Miller declined to comment on why her client was no longer pursuing legal action to block his daughter's assisted suicide. The Court of Appeal on Wednesday released a redacted letter sent by Miller indicating he was discontinuing. Court official redacted the portion of Miller explaining a court official redacted the portion of Miller's letter explaining what that action would have to be. Hold on, what does that say? Indicating she would be discontinuing the appeal as the daughter took certain actions. Well, didn't they tell us that the actions were starving herself to death? Miller told the court her client had received information but was removed from her email. Okay. Feasby ordered a stay of his ruling to allow the father to file an appeal, which he did. Miller then began April 8th with the consent of both the woman and Alberta Health Services, which was named as a respondent. He sought the appeal. The case took an urgent turn last week when MV's lawyers Evan Jovanovich and Austin Palado indicated their client wished to have Kirker's orders rescinded, as their client was now starving herself, and she would either suffer a painful demise that way or be allowed access to maid. At an emergency hearing following the filing of that application, he urged the parties to sit next to okay. The harm to MV if the injunction is not... That's right. That's what the judge said the last one. The harm to MV if the injunction is not granted will be substantial. The pain of losing a child, even an adult child, is not something that any parent should experience. The parents have devoted their lives to raising MV from birth and continue to support her since coming of age. They will understandably be devastated by her death. Feasby said, even though he was lifting the injunction, that did not mean the woman had chose to end her life. I do not know why you seek maid. Your reasons may remain your own because I have respected your autonomy and your privacy. My decision recognizes your right to choose medically assisted death, but it does not require you to choose death. Okay. The decision to discontinue the appeal means 3 interveners who had hoped to present arguments, including Canada, Euthanasia Prevention Coalition, and more recently, Dying with Dignity, won't be able to make submissions on the issue. This is Canada. This is the progressives' wet dream. Mentally ill, non-terminally ill people get to kill themselves because the system is so fundamentally broken. It can't treat them or care for them in the first place. Okay. Now I want to meme Viva as Jesus from The Big Lebowski. You don't with the Jesus. I will on Monday or Tuesday. I would never lick a ball, even if it's my ball. And that's going to be clipped and taken out of context. All right. I am done. Let's see what's going on in the chat with any tip chats. And then we're going to go into the rapid fire. Watch it, Viva. Ashley putting the judge in his place. So awesome. Who's got the link? Mighty Pink, can you flip me the link? Ganthit says, Viva, I treat De Niro the same way I treat Bill Cosby. I love their professional work, but personally, I disagree with them. The beautiful thing about America is passionately disagreeing with our fellow Americans. I agree with that, but there is a point at which the hatred of the individual or the acts of the individual will compromise the work of their art. Roman Polanski is one of them. So that's, but I'm not that far with Robert De Niro anyhow. I know some like he's an idiot. And I'm joking. Like, for goodness sake, the Tom DeLonge from Blink-182, Angels and Airwaves, one of my favorite band of all time. Guy's a political idiot, but his music is freaking awesome. I love it. Mighty Piss is Critical Thought. Everyone, please check out. Okay, so I got that one. That's Richard Epstein. Let me go to the standard title. I don't have the exact link. Anybody can find it. I'll find it on Twitter. Don't worry about it. Finboy Slick challenge accepted. I'll post those. I might have to watch The Big Lebowski again tonight. That could be a good one. I hate to ask, will Canadian medical system offer maid to people after they pay for transitional? Absolutely, they will, Crash Bandit. It's almost by design. They're administering death to people who are not terminally ill or even physically ill. Like, I mean, physically ill in the sense of a sickness. Mental illness the treatment is only euthanasia if you are a Nazi. I mean, like if you are a mercy-killing member of the Hitler regime. Okay. I saw it on Phil's channel. Yeah, I'll definitely see that. That says, I saw it on Phil's. We need a movie night with Viva, SB Farmer. We can do that. Roostang sent a $1 tip. Hope this helps with Pudge and Winston. Arm and Hammer Pooper Scooper, Swivel Bin, and Rake Dog Pooper Scooper. Black, 2-scented waste bags. The issue is not the poop, Roostang. It's not even the poop when Pudge does it in the house. Her poop is very hard and dry because of the all-beef diet. She poops in the house. She just does it all the time. Who was here? Adam, the lectern guy comes in. We've got like 22 teenage kids at the house for a birthday graduation party. And we're like, everybody, just always watch where you're walking because you will get poop somewhere. There will be poop. And then sure enough, Pudge left us a beautiful, it's like a gingerbread trail across the living room floor. It's beautiful. Viva, it was the same day the judge had Steele in contempt. Ashley showed up another. Yeah, see, I saw one clip where she said, I got 20 other lawyers here, but that was where I saw it. And Sadwigs Raging says, Oregon harvesting going full tilt. No question about it. Especially after they passed those 2 laws in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia where organ donation is now presumed. All of the people who are choosing to not have children because of their right thing to do will have no one to advocate for them when they are old. Mm-hmm. And the government wants to harvest their organs rather than pay out their pensions. Who said that? Martha, I absolutely agree with you. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 minutes rapid fire, supporter only questions. I'm going to enable it now. And AMA people, get the AMAs in there. Whoever said I love cheese and salad, you remind me I have to cook dinner for 4 kids and I don't know what we have to eat in the house. We better have steak or meat somewhere because it ain't a meal unless it has meat. Russell Brand after the interview is like, Viva, would you like to stay around and do some meditation yoga with me? And I was like, guys, I'm not a meditation yoga guy. And I told them, guys, I can't exercise or do those things with other people. I don't like people looking at me when I'm exercising or doing yoga. I don't like feeling the energy aura of someone else's thought process when I'm trying to exercise or do certain things because I can feel it. You know, you're sitting there and you're like, there's someone right next to me. I can feel their thoughts. I can't hear their thoughts, but I can feel them. And I also said, I also can't stand the yoga meditation guided things. Their voices are either too effeminate, their voices are either too masculine, their voices are either too encouraging. When the yoga master or the meditation master on YouTube says like, take a moment to congratulate yourself for being here. I'm like, oh my God, that's pretentious. I can't shut my brain down. Like, that's pretentious, and I cannot stand someone congratulating me for making the decision to sit down to do yoga. I was like, oh crap, I don't know if Russell does that, but so anyways, also I had to get home and timing worked out perfectly. Went straight to the airport, saved the family from the torrential downpour. Boopsy says, I'm the same way unless it's an aerobic class or dancing class of some sort. I can't even do that. I also can't even do team sports. Call it a psychological problem. I am saving this image right now, Finboy Slick. I never liked team sports. Squash, I loved. Ultimate Frisbee, I hated. Everyone's a team player when things go well. And then everyone's like blaming everyone when someone drops the Frisbee. So yeah, couldn't do that. You got lucky, Viva Fry. The AI doesn't know how to draw your tongue. Hyphen says, Viva, I saw the judge today. He did not know the difference between civil and criminal contempt. Even I knew the difference at this point. This is from Martha, says, Brian Kest Power Yoga circa 1995 is the best yoga series. I'll give that a try. Doug Lee Fan says, Viva, did you give him the coloring book? Yes, I did. I got a picture of it. I should probably post it. I gave him the coloring books because my wife has the meditating synapse or the meditating neuron. She's got the meditating neuron, so she thought he would love that. I was good at squash, says Hyphen. I was ranked. I was ranked in Quebec. I was pretty good. I was the captain of the McGill squash team. Have you ever seen like a 5'6" dude running around the squash court my nickname was the Roadrunner. That's how I got my email address, roadrunnerdave@yahoo.com. Everyone said you run around the course like a roadrunner. I was like, oh, They called me the Roadrunner. I raced because I hated team sports, says Crash Bandit. Merchant Marine, Viva Fried. PetSmart carries out Pet Care Advanced Stain and Odor Remover. It's an enzyme eater. The stuff is the best. It gets where you can't see. Oh, that's not the problem either. We don't have carpet anymore because the dog shits and pisses everywhere. So we had no carpet in Montreal when we still lived there. Here, it's Florida. There's no carpet anyhow because everything's so humid. Yeah, EO Delicious says, did y'all see the clip of Rocket Boy TY posted? Steele straight up told the judge it was like communist Russia. Yeah, that's fantastic. Russell is a tough interview. There's always a shadow of doubt attached to a recovering addict. His past is lathered in goo. What he spouts today seems intelligent and honest. Having said that, you handled it well. Now, please tell us how you found the interview. In the Belfry. But that's also like something that a recovering addict always has to live with, is people are always going to look at them like they are one lapse away from reverting to what they used to be. I think the interview went well. I think at first he was a little standoffish, and then towards the end, I felt a warmth. I felt a much more of a relaxed look in his eyes. But it was weird. I mean, he goes into much more detail about his history in his book, and I think he takes for granted that most people already know of his upbringing and, his life arc. And anybody who's listened or read the book Recovery knows it in detail. So it was weird. It was almost like he didn't want to answer those questions or get into that much detail. No, but I think towards the end, I really think it warmed up, and I think it was fantastic. But I what is it? I bathed in self-doubt. Let me see what we got here. Viva, please make sure you have Barnes on if Steve Bannon is willing to join you for an interview. Well, 1,000%. If Steve Bannon, okay, awesome, comma, thank you, exclamation point. I feel so stupid that I have never asked until now, period. Okay, it might happen. We'll see. But I'm not sure it is. Maybe we'll see. Barnes is not the most beautiful thing about the relationship I have with Barnes is that neither of us are jealous or there's no judgment and there's no second thought. If I have I wish Barnes could have made it down to Longboat Key, but I think he was in thorough transit all week. But even if I do it without Barnes, I mean, I'll pick his brain before we do it. What is biblical meditation or yoga, says Mrs. LaRue. Boopsy says, okay, so let me go down here. How does someone with so many neuroses deal with so much poop? Compartmentalization, says Bill Brown. You want to hear something disgusting? I accidentally picked up poop with my bare hands today. I've given up on the poop. Plus, it's not like cat poop. There's no toxoplasmosis in dog poop, and it's not like barf. Barf is disgusting. Although even that, I clean up. But no, and also it's not necessarily compartmentalization. It is also you can get used to anything. One thing there's certain things I will never get used to, and those are the ones that I really have issues with, like taking what do they call those things? Mental drugs, like for my antidepressants. Never. There was a tip question here. Barnes said he would be happy to do a sidebar with Bobby and Cox. Would you be willing to schedule it? I'll email you all the information and put it in the comments. Thanks, says Mighty Pig. Go, absolutely. I don't know who that is. And not as a matter of arrogance, probably as a matter of ignorance. I don't know who that is. So let's go to all down here. Find me someone who does yoga with no ego. Try get Bannon on the Sunday show so Barnes will be there as well. Yeah, that would be an amazing Sunday show. If it's possible, comma, and he's game, comma, he could come on for the Sunday show, period. It's our biggest show of the week, period. Okay, done. Try living in a farm. There's nothing on a farm that scares me, Bill. I don't care about poop. I don't care about, I drank freaking milk from a goat's teat. Having a fight. Who was it that posted that stupid guy from the Midas Touch who posts MAGA Republicans want to kill themselves by drinking raw milk. I was like, bitch, I realized how idiotic the pasteurization of milk was when I saw that they had the same warning label on the freshly squeezed orange juice I get from Bedner's farm up the street. Warning, drinking unpasteurized orange juice could contain bacteria and toxins that could be harmful for the health. Holy crab apples. Now I realize how stupid it is. That Russell interview was awesome. You are getting a Trump interview. I called it, says Nike 7. That would be glorious. David, please check the comment section. I will email it to you as well. Okay, awesome. I will. That was from Janice. Boopsy says, when my son was a baby, changing his diaper while naked, he pooped right in the palm of my hand. I could tell it was coming. Good catch. It was perfect. Oh, Boopsy, I remember something I read on Reddit back when I was on Reddit. And it was a woman talking about... I'm going to barf. I don't believe it was real, but it was a woman talking about how she was changing the diaper and she got a little piece of poop on her finger, and she loved her baby so much that she just licked it right off and continued changing the diaper. And I replied, it's like, dude, that's not a sign of you loving your baby. That's a sign of you hating yourself. But in retrospect, I think it was all, just troll engagement on that shithole of a platform. I love yoga, especially the kind with fruit on the bottom, Pasha Moyer. Bada bing, bada boom, we get that. The babies will get you on some, but even having children does not get me used to the vomit. Marion has to deal with the vomit. I can only very reluctantly deal with the human vomit. Everything about the process of human vomit makes me want to vomit. The sound, the smell, the process, the involuntary takeover of your body by a force that you can't control, and whether you like it or not, it's happening. Did we do 10 minutes of questions already? Holy crab apples. That's what you get for visiting the retarded cesspool of the internet. Oh, hold on, guys. Oh, shit balls. Sorry. I almost fell down. That would have been bad. I got a gift. From Luke Rudkowski. And I have not yet determined if I have the audacity to put it up outside the house. Guys, get out of here. No, you can't. You can't. Get out of here. No, neither of you can. Get out of here. The kids, they came in at the worst possible time. Get out. Don't let the dog out. Get out. I'm done in like 4 minutes. Go. Okay. It's apparently... I just choked on my own hair. Apparently, it's Luke Rudkowski's bestseller. Can I possibly put it on my front lawn? I think 98% of our community would laugh their heads off. I think I have a neighbor who might not find it so funny. Oh, it's classic, anyhow. It's classic. Okay, let me see what you. Because the thing is this. I have reverted to a world in which I'm going to say retarded. I will. It's a scientifically, linguistically, etymologically accurate term. It means slow. And you call something retarded not to insult anybody. You don't even call mentally, you don't actually call people with mental challenges retarded. You don't. You call people who are willingly stupid retarded because they are. And it's not, if you can't call someone retarded because they're being an idiot, can you call them an idiot? I mean, that's also a clinical term. Idiot has a clinical definition. How is that not insulting to people whose IQ is less than 55 or 60, whatever it is? A moron, a spaz. Can you call someone a spaz or no? Maybe you can't. Can you call someone a dingbat? Can you call someone a stupid ass I'm joking, but it's hilarious. When you change the word and it has the same definition, this is what the left does. They've been doing it. When you change the word and it has the same definition, this is what the left does, and they've been doing it for decades. I will not retard my language for someone's feelings, says Sad Wings Raging. I say they're information retardants. You have flame retardant. It slows down a flame. And people who act retarded on the internet are information retardants. They slow down the spread of accurate information. It's not like saying fag. That has also an etymological. I mean, Brits still use the word to refer to a cigarette butt. You have a bundle of fags. It's a bunch of sticks. I mean, I think it's British more than anything else. I prefer window liquor. That's offensive. How dare you? You're a womble. Now I have to go Google. What the heck does womble mean before I forget? Womble Urban Dictionary. Womble. Oh, an idiot, dolt, or fool, a person who wastes other people's time by endlessly waffling on something or another. Okay, that's fine. That's not so bad. And then what else do we got? Before it was called something else. Fanny pack. Okay. Commie eat shit, eat shit commies. That's the salty cracker. That's funny. All right, people. Viva Fry, any chance you and Barnes getting an interview with the man himself, Donald John Trump? Dude, I don't even know where you. I mean, the thing is, I know where I would ask, but I'm not asking. I'm close with Don Jr. I'm close with Kimberly Guilfoyle. I'm close with a bunch of people. I don't. It has to happen organically. Everybody is so freaking busy. It's like if ever. And you also, first of all, I don't want to use people. Period. And I also don't even want that. I don't want people suspecting that my underlying ulterior motive was to use them in the long run. So if it happens, it'll happen. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not asking. I'm not begging. And I'm not going to irritate friends that I've made in this environment to try to make it happen. With Russell Brand, it just happened as organically and accidentally as pregnancy, to use a great analogy. So we'll see if it happens. I'd love it. I mean, maybe if there's enough social, those campaigns, but who knows? It doesn't matter. If it happens, it happens. My cosmic wish or lotto would be getting that email, getting that call from Joe Rogan. And maybe if the shit hits the fan enough in Canada and I establish myself as enough of a, the social media expert, the social media legal expert on the insanity in Canada, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, who knows? But that's the things have to happen organically in order to happen properly. And Viva is back talking about men he loves is more in more than a platonic way. All right. I always worry I bother Viva too much with my no, you don't. Bill Brown, don't worry about that. Dude, I just worry that some people get offended if I don't reply to text because I don't see all the text. And then by the time I see it, it's a week later. But that's the dynamic. You the best, Viva says Jules Verne. What is it? You the man. That's from a movie. I want to say an Adam Sandler movie. You the man. And I want to say it was Rob Schneider who said it. Oh, what movie is it from? Pam Walker says, thanks, Viva. Thanks, David. You are a bright light. What movie was that from? You the man. Oh, I'll get it. Finboy sick. By the way, sorry about sorry and thankful that you put up with me on Luke's show. That was hilarious. I'm just glad that Luke was able to get the memes in real time. You the man. Waterboy? It was Waterboy? We love you, Viva. We don't get mad. Everyone is super busy. Merchant Marine. Oh, it's beyond anything. I just feel bad with the kids because, like I've said, go entertain yourselves for an hour and a half and don't get into trouble. And I don't think the kids appreciate how abnormal my work life is. Like, for gosh sake, we go bowling, and then the kids like, all right, let's go do bumper cars. I was like, dude, I know it doesn't matter. You can the Waterboys. You can do it. The other one was you're the man. Okay, they're coming. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Thank you all. Go and enjoy the night. I hope this was fantastic. I think it was. And I am going to go in the pool. I'm going to go make a nice dry martini when I get out. And I'm going to go make dinner for 4 people, which is going to take a little bit of time. Go, everybody. Is Pudge calling? No, the kids are knocking down the door. That's it. We're done. We're out. Go and have a good day. Ending the stream. Thank you all for being here. Sincerely, as always. The community is amazing. It's therapeutic. And I think it is. I think we're all therapeuticizing together. So go and enjoy the rest of the evening, and I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.